So recently I documented my journey in getting a will put together and registering it at the Supreme Court. And I entitled that series, Will I or Will I Not? But I always believe when I do things like that, you know what? Let me come to the professional and get the real scoop. So with me today, I have Mrs. Ondene Kirton, attorney at law. And let's say her pay grade is much higher than mine. So the knowledge level coming with that is a lot more. So I'm gonna ask her all the questions that I know you want to have some insight to. So thank you so much for being with me. And first off, give me an idea of the jargon. I hear about wills, estates, inheritances. What is what?
And trusts.
You see?
And it goes on and on and on.
Good. So
let's
give me some
start with
insight.
simple things.
Mm-hmm.
So what is a will?
Mm-hmm.
A will is a legal document that gives effect of the deceased.
Okay.
The deceased in this case could be a testator, which refers to the male, or testatrix, who is the female.
And what I like, she's breaking it down in language that I can understand. Thank you. Good. Carry.
No, why do you even need to have a will?
Mm-hmm.
The reality is that if you don't have a will, the Succession Act is going to take care of all of your property, both real and personal.
Okay. So what's the Succession Act? In precede, what does it speak to?
The Succession Act, in a nutshell, says you didn't make a will, so this is what we're going to do. This is how your property is going to be divided.
Oh.
That's right.
Okay.
Were you married?
Mm-hmm.
Were you not married? Did you have children? Did you not have children?
Right.
So it speaks to every individual who is still alive and is a relative.
Wow. And y'all know that y'all don't like every single relative, so we need to get this in order. Okay, carry on.
I encourage people, Sharita, make a will. Doesn't have to be very expensive. People say, I don't have anything to leave. Of course you do. Look at that beautiful necklace that you're wearing.
Let me clutch. Let me clutch it.
That's right. Look at your jewelry. Look at all of your clothing. The point is, we have accumulated assets.
True.
We have bank accounts. Okay? We also have some debt. But the reality is that most of us do have items that we can leave to other people.
Okay.
All right?
All right. So that is the will component.
That's the will component.
Okay. What's the difference between inheritance and will, or is inheritance a subset of a will?
In a nutshell.
Okay.
Because an inheritance is the gift that you actually want to pass on.
All right. What is an estate? We hear all this talk about, when you go to banks and insurance companies, is your beneficiary the estate or a spouse? What does that speak to?
Oh wow, that's a huge area. So an estate really gives credence to what happens, one, before you die, and also after you die.
Okay.
So let's talk about estate planning. What does estate planning really involve? It involves the wills that we just spoke about. It involves trust, if you want to make a trust. But ultimately, Sharita, it's also going to speak to how are you living your life to the very end.
Ooh, I feel judged.
I know, but you're not.
Okay.
And I'm saying this because ultimately, we are in a society where we're aging and we're living longer.
Correct.
So where do you want to be when you're 80 or 90? Do you still want to be living on your own? Do you want to be living in a home? Do you want to be in an assisted living environment? This is important because this speaks to what you're going to do when you're still alive.
Okay.
Okay, that's estate planning. This speaks to what you want now.
Okay, good to know. I always felt like that was okay. So good to hear that differentiation.
So correct. Now, when a person passes, it is referred to their estate because it's all that is left.
Okay.
It's all that is left. And remember, you just said to me you made a will.
Yes.
So chances are you also selected an executor or executors. All right? And these are persons who are going to ensure that your final wishes are dealt with.
Good. Yes.
Okay?
Yes, indeed.
And they're the ones that will take care of your estate.
All right.
And that is a huge area yet again because they're going to ensure that all of your debts are paid. They're going to make sure that probate is done.
What is probate?
Right.
it just keeps going down and down.
I know. So in a nutshell, if you've left a will, This is a document that is legal.
Okay.
But it can only give effect through the process of probate. Probate means if you make an application into court, and once that probate is dealt with, you get letters testamentary, and those letters testamentaries allows your executor or executors
Okay, so it's
to distribute all of the gifts that you left in your fantastic will.
So is probate kind of like, forgive my lack of knowledge, is probate kind of like a governmental check that you are who you say you are, or
So
that the process is
So it's a
being
process
done?
that is being done correctly.
Right, okay.
All right, and because it's legal, it has to ensure that it goes through a few steps.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, anyone can go into your house, open up the door, and say, "Hey, she told me that I could have this." But if you didn't document that in the will, what gives me the right to just go ahead because I have your keys?
You see why you need professional help, people? You see? This is good. Excellent.